and this session is a seminar on Tamil Nadu, what it offers to the aerospace and defense industry. And I welcome those who are online as well. There are a few people online. We have a very good list of illustrious speakers who are here. I request the speakers and the panel discussion members to please join us on the stage, led by Mrs. Jayashree Muralidharan, the MD of TIPCO, Mr. Krishnamurthy, Dr. Nadu, Mr. Sundaram, Mr. Srinath, Mr. Asmatullah, and we'll have one more gentleman who will be joining us shortly. William Blair will be joining us, he's en route. I request Mr. Krishnamurthy to welcome the gathering and set the trend, set the session rolling.
Good afternoon to all the senior officials of Government of India, various state governments, and captains of aerospace and defense industries present physically and virtually. On behalf of Government of Tamil Nadu, I welcome everyone to the session titled Tamil Nadu, the Global Hotspot for Aerospace and Defense Manufacturing. It is also my privilege to be standing here on the dais and welcome a wonderful gathering of accomplished individuals. We have on the dais today Mrs. Jayashree Muralidharan, Special Secretary to the Government of Tamil Nadu and Managing Director of Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation, Dr. Maheshwami Ananthurai, ex-Project Director, Chandrayaan Mission, Dr. William Blair, VP and CEO of Lockheed Martin, is expected to join shortly, Mr. R. Sundaram, the founder and CEO of Aerospace Industries, Salem, Mr. Srinath, CEO and co-founder of Agnikul Cosmos, Mr. Asmatullah, Senior Director, Dassault System. I extend my warm welcome to each one of these distinguished persons. India is one of the key defense markets of the world with the defense budget of $70 billion and sources of 70% of needs from foreign sources. And Make in India is given thrust to boost the AED sector. Mr. Blair, welcome to the session. Mr. William Blair from Lockheed Martin is joining us. So towards achieving the self-reliance objectives, two defense corridors is announced. One is Tamil Nadu Industrial Defense Corridor, and TIPCO has been mandated to spearhead the implementation of corridor activities. With having the corridor spread across 5 different nodes, the corridor was announced in 20 January 2019, and it is mandated to create all the facilities and enablers to support and creation of facilities like export facilitation center, certification, technology transfer facilitation, and whatnot to support the industries, both for setting up the new facilities as well as expansion of industries into A&D sector. And TIPCO has been made a lot of tremendous strides towards working towards these objectives. And in fact, you all know that the defense to manufacture to the extent of 75,000 crores worth of manufacturing through indigenously for the next 3 years of period, and in fact 25,000 crores export target has been mandated. And industry members, you are all aware, Tamil Nadu is the second largest economy in the country with strong manufacturing base, growing consistently above 90% over the first 5 years. Tamil Nadu is the most attractive investment destination by virtue of factors like strategic location, conducive business environment, entrepreneurial mindset, skilled workers, extents of excellent logistic connectivity, state-of-art infrastructure, and whatnot. It is also in the first in terms of good governance index assessed by Government of India. We have been rightly identified as one of the 2 defense corridors in the country by virtue of requisite infrastructure and by virtue of target, by virtue of existing ecosystem. So Tamil Nadu defense corridor is strategically placed to emerge as a AED hub. Its strength in automobile, electronics, heavy industry, precision, and whatnot. So Tamil Nadu aims to become pivotal player to fulfill the dreams of Government of India and 1 trillion vision of our Tamil Nadu vision. Today I stand here in front of the August gathering to showcase the strength of Tamil Nadu to the industries, and Jayashree Muralidharan ma'am will be Special Secretary to Government of India. She will deliver the keynote address. I welcome everyone to welcome to this session. We would like to have a panel comprising of illustrious persons, Mailsami sir and all the dignitaries here. On behalf of Government of Tamil Nadu and TIDCO, I once again welcome the distinguished speakers, panelists, audience to the session. I am confident that Tamil Nadu is poised to become a significant player in A&D. I am sure that with the continued support of all the stakeholders, Tamil Nadu will be able to emerge a major A&D hub. With these few words, I heartily welcome everyone assembled here for this session. Thank you.
That was a wonderful introduction to the session, sir. I request Mrs. Jayashree Muralidharan, Managing Director, Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation, who is spearheading the Tamil Nadu Aerospace Defence Industrial Corridor, to deliver her keynote address.
Thank you. First of all, a very good afternoon to a very acknowledged persons on the dais, Mr. William Blair, Mr. Mailsami Annadurai, Mr. Sundaram Srinath, Asmatullah, and all of you. A very warm welcome to all of you here for this Tamil Nadu session. And I really appreciate the audience out here, because I know how difficult it was to reach this venue. And the fact that you've all made it here speaks volume of your diligence to come and make it to the session. A big thanks to all of you. And first of all, I would like to talk about Tamil Nadu. As the representative of the government of Tamil Nadu, I take great pleasure in welcoming you all to this session, where we all know Tamil Nadu is one of the leaders in the manufacturing sector. We know most of the automobile industry exists in Tamil Nadu, but we want to take it to the next logical step, namely the aerospace and defense. We all know that historically we've had Karnataka, especially Bangalore and Hyderabad, being the aerospace and defense hub. We want to change that, and we want to make Tamil Nadu also a hub for the aerospace and defense industry. And towards this end, we are very grateful to the Government of India for having announced the Defense Industrial Corridor, Tamil Nadu being the major announced in 2019. And from then on, we have tried to do our best to ensure that the aerospace and defense industries do come over to Tamil Nadu. First of all, to give a brief outline about Tamil Nadu, we are the first in the Good Governance Index. That is done by none other than Niti Aayog. We've also topped the SDG index, so that in the sustainable development we are there. And also the highest number of factories that you can have, again Tamil Nadu, we have 38,000 odd industries in Tamil Nadu, and we have one of the most highest number of operational SEZs in the country is again in Tamil Nadu. And the skilled manpower that we have in Tamil Nadu is unparalleled. When we see the workforce in Bangalore and in Hyderabad, most of them are from Tamil Nadu. So the logical step would be to attract the talent back to Tamil Nadu with our setup over there. And when we talk about the human capability or the capital availability, we should say that we have thousands of colleges, hundreds of engineering colleges, ITIs and polytechnics, wherein we churn out huge number of highly skilled technical manpower. So that is the strength of Tamil Nadu in terms of manpower. And then when we go to the Defence Industrial Corridor, we all know that it was announced in 2019, and we have basically 5 nodes. These nodes are very important because these are where we have our capability and our strengths. The first one being Chennai, our capital, where we have the armored vehicles, the precision manufacturing and the automobile industry, apart from electronics. Our basic strength lies in that. And in Salem, technical textiles. And in Hosur, MRO and automobiles. In Coimbatore, precision engineering again, and again general engineering and forging. And in Trichy, all of us no BHEL is there, fabrication is a big thing. So apart from this, we also have industries in Thoothukudi, but then these are the nodes for the defense industrial corridor. And TIDCO has been nominated as the nodal agency, so we are doing the spearheading work and trying to facilitate all the aerospace and defense industries. Again, the question is why Tamil Nadu? As Krishnamurthy was mentioning very briefly, the strategic location of Tamil Nadu down south and the huge MSME base that we have, plus the skilled manpower and the excellent ecosystem that we have there, not to mention about the infrastructure and the organization set up there in Tamil Nadu, makes it a very attractive destination. Apart from the fact that we already have quite a lot of aerospace and defense companies in Tamil Nadu, 300 of them already exist there, and majority of the suppliers to Bangalore and HAL are apparently from, all of you know, from Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu and from Hosur. So that is the strength. As I was mentioning earlier, about 5,000 odd aerospace engineers are churned out every year from Tamil Nadu colleges. So you know the sort of skilled manpower that is available, the technically skilled. Not only that, the number of industrial workers, again, we top the country. So these are the stats that go in favor of Tamil Nadu. And one more recent thing is, as per the FDI study, they have found that Chennai to be the most cost-effective location for operating an electronics R&D center. So that speaks volume about the high-quality manpower that we have there, who could come at a very reasonable rates. And of course, the next we have to talk about is the focus subsectors that we have in the A&D sector. As you can see from the slide, we are for, can you move to the next slide? Yeah. The next one. The space technology, rockets and ammunition, whatever that is there, we are all working towards that and ensuring that all these companies will be able to do very well there. The strategy that we are adopting there is to create common infrastructure, because most of these players are from the MSME sector. So if we need to do something to attract these aerospace and defense companies into Tamil Nadu, we need to give them something which is extra. So the extra is the common infrastructure that we are creating, so that they don't have to spend a lot of capital creating the infrastructure. Not only that, we are enabling the foreign OEMs to identify the Indian offset partner, which we were talking about with the Lockheed Martin. We were talking this morning with Mr. Blair, and to create our own facilities. That is the second thing in TIDCO that we are doing to facilitate the aerospace and defense industry. Apart from that, we have our policy level support, wherein we have the Tamil Nadu Industrial Policy of 2021, which is something, one of the best policies that is there in the whole of the country. And now we are trying to better that, because we already have an aerospace and defense policy in 2019. We are trying to fine-tune that and ensure more and more is added to the policy that is already existing to attract the A&D industries. And also, the ease of doing business. We are very proud to say that in 2018, we were ranked number 18 in the ease of doing business from amongst all the states of the country. Now we are ranked 3. That speaks volume of the importance that the government is giving to ensure that the businessmen are able to do their businesses very easily, and all the facilitation is being done by the government. We have a sister organization called Guidance, which does all the hand-holding. And anybody who has set up an industry there recently will know the sort of hand-holding that is being done by Guidance. It speaks volumes, so I don't have to say anything more. And not only that, another pain point for the industries is to find land. That is something of a real pain point. To ensure that there are no such issues, we are creating industrial parks apart from the SIPCOT and the SITCO and the LCOT parks that we already have. We are creating from TIDCO quite a lot of parks for the aerospace and defense industries. And the good news is, for the startups, we are doing a lot of promotion. I'll come to that in detail later. When we are talking about a common facility center, the first one that we have already set up is an organization called TREAT, where we are going in for metallic fabrication in Trichy, which is, again, as you know, the stronghold of fabrication industry is obviously located in Trichy. And then the Center of Excellence for Design Engineering, which is there in, we are planning to partner with Hexagon. and which is of course in the initial stages. Surface coating, we've already partnered with GTN Industries in Coimbatore, and also for the foundries, which is again a very essential requirement for the aerospace and defense industry, with the FTF, and for the Common Engineering Facility Center, which is now we are identifying the partner. We have floated the bid that is again proposed to be there in Coimbatore. So these are the common facilities which we are planning to set up, apart from the common testing facility which we have got under the DTIA scheme of Ministry of Defence, wherein we have got 3 important projects: UAV testing, electronic warfare and electronic optics. These are the 3 projects which we have got, and we have floated the RFP. So hopefully in a short while we will be establishing the testing centers over there in Vallam Padagal. We have located the space. This is about 40 odd kilometers from Chennai. So it will be very ideal for any entrepreneur or a startup to do the testing of their products over there. And for the mechanical testing, we have requested the MOD, and they have also promised to consider us in the DTIS in phase 2. As regards the EMI and EMC, we have submitted a detailed proposal along with the DPR to MATI, and we are hopeful we will get it soon. As regards the centers of excellence, I can proudly say we have 3 very good centers of excellence there in Chennai, in Tidal Park. One is with the Dassault system for virtual engineering and design innovation, the other, which has already been commissioned by our Honorable Chief Minister. The other one is the Siemens Experience Center for Industry 4.0, and the last one is the GE Aviation, wherein we have a center for additive manufacturing, which is about, all of these are worth in crores. We are doing this basically to ensure that the MSMEs have some place where they can go and test their ideas. They don't have to waste their money going elsewhere. At a very subsidized rate, they can come over here, test their products, and then test their ideas and develop products. So that is the basic idea, and apart from that, they are also going in for skilling of the academia and the workforce. All that is being done in these centers of excellence. We have commissioned one, and the rest 2 are to be commissioned very shortly. And as regards the industrial policy, which I was talking about earlier, we have excellent industrial policy which was released in 2021, wherein quite a number of incentives are given to the big industries, basically the large, mega, ultra mega category of industries. As you can see here, quite a lot of incentives are given. I could give this handout to you if you require. Yeah? I don't want to go into detail because we are running out of short of time now. And then we have the next slide, please. Yeah, these are the various benefits that we offer. But then I would like to move to the AED policy. This is the draft Aerospace and Defense Policy, which is likely to come out. I'm just giving you a snapshot. It's not yet been released, but it's been cleared by the cabinet and is likely to be out very soon. So here we are giving quite a lot of subsidies. If it is a big company, they can go in for either the industrial policy or the aerospace and defense policy. They can choose amongst the 2, whichever is convenient or whichever is beneficial to them. Now when it comes to the AED policy, quite a lot of incentives are given. The first one being the investment promotion subsidy, which can be either the fixed capital subsidy from 5% to 12% of the eligible fixed assets. That is the sort of incentive we are giving. The 5 to 12% will depend on the size of the investment that we are making and also the districts where you want to locate. If you want to locate it somewhere in Chennai, you will end up getting 5%, but you want to move down south or somewhere in a backward district where we'll procure land and give it to you, it will be as high as 12%. So that is the sort of incentive package that we are offering. And for the turnover-based subsidy, the first time we have introduced for the aerospace and defense industry, we are planning to give 2% of the turnover back to you as incentive, with a cap of course, 4% of your eligible fixed asset for 10 years. So that is a big thing. And one thing what is to be noted here is this AED policy is not restricted to the big industries as the industrial policy is. This is meant for the MSMEs, the startups, the sub-large category, and also the large, ultra mega, mega, all of these categories. So everybody gets a share of the incentive and everybody would benefit by coming to Tamil Nadu. That is the point in this proposed aerospace and defense policy, which we are planning to release shortly. And of course, for the land cost also, 20 to 50% of the land cost would come back to you as subsidy. apart from 100% stamp duty exemption, and again electricity tax exemption for 5 years, 100% you get it. As regards skill development, we pay around 10,000 rupee per trainee per month for a year. So this is something which is not even given to the mega or ultra mega category of industries, but we are giving it even for a small startup industry. So this is something which will be a big sweetener for you. And also the green industry incentive, as you can see here, 25%, and also product certification incentive, quality certification incentive, all of which is again 50% of whatever you're spending, of course with a cap of 50 lakhs and 1.24 crores for patent cost incentive that you will get. And also, one more important thing is you will get a SGST refund on all the capital goods that you are procuring. So whatever you buy, you get the SGST component back to you. Then again, for the Indian offset partner, what we are planning to do is, it will be a structured package based on case-to-case basis based on your size of investment and everything. It will be placed before the interdepartmental committee and then taken to the cabinet, and we will give you the best possible incentive that is available there. And then of course, if you are an MSME or a small industry, again you get an interest subvention also. That is also another thing that we are offering. And if you want to start a aerospace and defense park, there again you get 10 to 12% of the cost, whatever you're spending for the internal infra, you would get that. And if it is an MSME, you will get 50% of your cost with a cap of 50 crore. So these are huge incentives. I don't think any other state is offering. We are offering. And not only that, there are certain incentives which are not at all linked to the size of the investment. That is going for the make category projects. When you have a make 1 and make 2 and make 3 categories, as you can see from the slide, you get from 5% to 50%. This would be the scale in which you can get back your investment on the prototype cost. And also good news for the startup, as I was telling, I see a lot of IDEX people over here, and what we are planning is you would be getting 90%, as an IDEX, you would be getting 90% funding from Government of India, right? 90 to 50%. 50% if it's IDEX prime, okay? So the rest of the amount will come as either a startup from the TANSEN fund, Startup and Innovation Mission, where we'll give you as a grant, and also an equity participation from the Emerging Sector Seed Fund, wherein we have a seed fund of around 500 crores. So everybody will benefit from it. So I request the IDEX people over here, please come to Tamil Nadu. We are here to handhold you and ensure that your projects take off in a big way. And also, we will be giving technology transfer incentive up to 75%, as is there in this slide. So these are the major salient features that we have for the proposed AED policy, which will be released possibly in another 15 days or so. In a fortnight, it should be out. Apart from this, we also have a special structured package of incentives which is offered for the anchor projects, also for the mega projects and for the Indian offset partners, as I was telling. So it will not be anything this alone, it can be anything more too, depending on the size of your investment. And also for the MRO, we have decided that this should be treated as deemed exports, so that you are incentivized to come back to India and do the work. And also service sector projects are also being incentivized for first time in this policy. As I was mentioning earlier, the ease of doing business, our ranking has gone up, not just like that, because of the hard work that we have put in there to ensure that there is a lot of ease that is actually there. All the pain points we studied and we ensured we tick those boxes one by one, clear off all this so that there is nothing which the industrialist or a businessman feels as a challenge. So that is how we went about it, and from 18th rank we have moved to the 3rd rank. We also have a single window facilitation wherein all your clearances, I know this is again a huge pain point for any industrialist or a businessman to get all the clearances from the government. Well, there's no escaping that, but we could facilitate it by going through a single window wherein you don't have to go from pillar to post. You can straight away go to the guidance office, give in all your application and all the papers over there, and they will do all the processing for you for a small fee. And also we have a BizBuddy portal. Okay, you have set up your industry or you have set up your project, and then if you still have problems, there is our BizBuddy portal wherein you can do everything online, and there is an escalation matrix in this BizBuddy portal where you have any issues that has been taken up at the highest level, including the Chief Minister's office. So we jolly well finish it at the HOD level rather than it being escalated up to CMO. So that is the level of importance that is given to the ease of doing business by the government. So that is what I wanted to stress on. As I was telling, apart from the other facilitation and other policy incentives that we are giving, we are also having industrial parks which are being created specifically for aerospace and defense. This is apart from the SIPCO, SIPCOT and LCOT parks that we already have, wherein you can still go and get your land. But to give a special focus and to create an ecosystem for the aerospace and defense industries, TIDCO has embarked on creating of industrial parks. One we have is an Aero Hub, which will be ready in another year's time, which is near Sriperumbudur, that's getting done. And also 2 parks which are coming up in Coimbatore, one in Sulur and one in Varapatti for the aerospace and defense. And also another one coming up in Annur, which is, all these parks are going to be a big shot in the arm for the AED industries. Apart from this, we also have thought of the Hosur and Manapparai, Karani. These are the 3 places where we are proposing to have aerospace and defense park. And the major one which I would like to mention here is about the Thoothukudi Industrial Park down south, bang next to Kulasekarapatnam, where we are going to have an ISRO facility. We are planning to have an AED park over there to help the space sector. And we all know that the private sector is coming up in the next slide, please. The private sector is coming a big way in the satellite launch, and ISRO has also proposed to establish a 3rd launch platform in Kulasekarapatnam. So right next to that, we are planning to have our facility. So this will help encourage the private sector to come there to TN and to South Tamil Nadu in a big way. What is aerospace and defense if I don't talk about the airports? Now, we have, all of you know that we have 4 international airports and 2 domestic airports in Tamil Nadu. Now we are embarking on a very ambitious mission of creating a 2nd airport for Chennai in Parandur, for which the land acquisition is just happening. So once that comes, we'll be having a capacity of 1,000 million passengers per annum. So that is the ambitious project we are embarking on. Apart from the Hosur airport, which is again the fastest growing city is Hosur. So we are also planning to have an airport there to cater to the industries there. So once again, I thank you all for your patient hearing and for having come up over here in spite of all the difficulties. And in case you have any doubt, my team is here, Mr. Krishnamurthy, Mr. Madhusudan and Devashish. You can reach out to them, and of course, I think I've given my card to all of you here. You're welcome to Tamil Nadu and welcome to any doubts or any clarifications. We are there to handhold you and take you through the process of setting up your projects. Welcome to Tamil Nadu once again. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. That was indeed a wonderful presentation highlighting the capabilities and what is offered in Tamil Nadu for the industries to benefit and grow. So main thing for the industries is to grow, and she, as she said clearly, we are here to help you in that growth path. With this, ma'am, we'll move to the next session, which will be a panel discussion, and amongst the various sectors of the aerospace and defense, one of the focus sectors for Tamil Nadu is the space sector, and we are trying to bid big on this. For us, space is something very big. If you look at the general growth of aerospace and defense industries, we are aspiring for self-reliance nowadays. But if you look at one sector of the aerospace and defense, which comprises of aviation, space and military, one sector in which India has already achieved a degree of self-reliance is space. It's thanks to organizations like ISRO, where there's been a significant level of self-reliance, unlike aviation and military, the southern part. So the next one is, next big thing is the ISRO spaceport, which Ma'am mentioned, which is coming up at Kulasekarapatnam, which would be the catalyst for the growth of space sector. So we thought that this would be the sector in which we can discuss on this, and we have esteemed panel which is sitting here, which is probably the who's who could talk about this. Let me start introducing the panelists here. Let me start. Yes. Thanks a lot. Yes. Let me start with Dr. Mailsani Annadurai, who's popularly known as the Moon Man of India due to his involvement with Chandrayaan mission. Of course, he had his fight in the Mangalyaan as well. So, but fortunately or unfortunately, he's called as the Moon Man. So let me stick to that. He's currently the Vice President of Tamil Nadu State Council for Science and Technology and Chairman and Board of Governors, National Design and Research Forum. He had a tenure of something like 36 years in ISRO, in which his service has been, it's well known to everyone, and the government has aptly recognized him with a Padma Shri in 2016. The next person is a very young person, Mr. Srinath. It's not in any order, it's a random order in which I am going. Mr. Srinath is a co-founder and CEO of Agnikul Cosmos, a company which aims to launch small satellites of up to 100 kgs into orbit. He just wants to beat the escape velocity. He's a Master of Science in Aerospace, Aeronautical and Aeronautical Engineering from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Srinath is also part of a founding member of Space Cooperative, a blockchain-based space mission building platform that unites people from all over the world towards building their dreams in building missions in space. And the startup which is part of Agnikul is one of the most promising startups in India, launching mini satellites. The next person is Mr. Sundaram, who is a first generation entrepreneur who carved out a name for himself and his company, Aerospace Engineers Private Limited, in the domain of aerospace and defense. Mr. Sundaram is a polymer technologist from Madras Institute of Technology. He began his journey in 1988 at the age of 25, when he launched his electrometric engineers at Salem. During his early years itself, probably he is one person who realized the self-reliance very well. Right in 1980s itself, he started manufacturing components for indigenization, and gradually he has extended the aviation domain to the space as well. His growth story has been continuous, and AEPL is a quality supplier to DPSUs, DRDO, ISRO, and recently Tier 1 supplier to Boeing as well. We have Mr. Krishnamurthy, who is representing, he is a civil service officer who represents the government. He is a project director, TIDCO, driving the Tamil Nadu Defence Industrial Corridor. During his 20 years of service, he has worked in multiple departments, multiple domains, including defence production, shipping. He has also held the post of Executive Director and Indian Ports Association. He is a prestigious recipient of Ayush Bhushan from Government of India. Then we have Mr. Ahmadullah, who is a Senior Director, Dassault Systems. He is in charge of customer solutions experience. He has had over 18 years in Dassault Systems, which is really quite a long period in a private industry. He is passionate about technology and digital transformation. We have Mr. William Blair, who is VP and CEO India of Lockheed Martin. In the past, he has been a Vice President Business Development at Tucson at Raytheon. He has also had a tenure in GE Aviation. He is a mechanical engineer from MIT and Penn State University. I think we can't get a better gathering than this real eminent person who has proven their worth in the industry. So probably due to paucity of time, I would give about 4 minutes to each individual before moving on to questions, which I have a privilege of being a moderator. So probably I will take that privilege, and of course I will extend that privilege to the audience here as well. So maybe we can start with Mr. Srinath from this left here about your journey in the space sector and how you have been able to flourish in the state of Tamil Nadu. What is the message you have for other entrepreneurs like you?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, sir, for that warm introduction, and thank you to everyone for giving me the opportunity to talk about what we are doing and share my views. So I am Srinath, one of the co-founders of this company called Agnikul, where we are building small launch vehicles that can take micro satellites to orbit in a very short period of time. So we are really trying to solve the transportation problem that small satellites face. And the idea is to really try to make it as close as possible to ground transportation, wherein if someone tells us what is the payload that they want to take to orbit, where they want to launch from, and how heavy it is, we should be able to give a solution to them in less than 2 weeks or so. So that is what we are trying to build at Nigu started in 2017, and I think a lot of this was possible because of the right kind of academia collaboration we have had. Because at least when we started, we reached out to multiple, professors across the country, and one of the professors from IIT Madras actually showed a lot of interest, and that is where we were able to get into the university ecosystem. And I think for a startup or any new initiative that is working on hardware, having a good academia collaboration is important. And I think Tamil Nadu actually offers that very clearly, because you do have a lot of premier educational institutions here. For me, it was a big stroke of luck because I grew up in Chennai. So having IIT Madras Association was actually also a matter of convenience. Even though I didn't plan for it that way, it just happened that way. But that has paid off in a big way in terms of the early years where there's a lot more uncertainty and there's a lot more, thought process that is going into whether the solution that you're building actually works for customers, or are you just building something because you like what you're building, right? And that doesn't really generally solve for a good business. So I think that when you're in that stage, having the right kind of academia partners is important, and I think Tamil Nadu can play a big role there. The second thing that I've found interesting, and again, things that we did not clearly solve for in the beginning but happened to align, was the presence of various different vendor ecosystems in and around Chennai, particularly when you're in the early stages of prototyping, right? We have like 3 or 4 different clear ecosystems around Chennai itself, where you can go and get pretty much anything done when you're doing parts not at scale, not like 1 million parts, but say 10 parts, 15 parts, where you want to be doing a lot of testing, you want to break things to learn from them. I think Chennai is a great place for that. That access to that kind of ecosystem quickly is also, and at a very affordable rate, is also something that has really helped us in our early years. Otherwise, again, that initial hardware development would have been harder. And I think the other one that does help, but now I'm going to talk a little more specifically about the sector we are in, which is space sector itself, is that because of the various people who have been working at Sriharikota, which is not very far from Chennai, we do have a lot of retired ISRO talent in and around Chennai or across Tamil Nadu actually. So we benefited a lot from that, taking advice from them, because they are the people who have actually already, there is such a vast ecosystem and a vast body of knowledge that exists within the country in the space sector, thanks to ISRO for that. And anyone who's starting off new would be more prudent to start off from that level as opposed to unnecessarily reinventing the wheel. So that is also available in Tamil Nadu, is what we realized. So to be honest, didn't solve for all of these things very carefully when we started, except that we knew we wanted an academia partner and we wanted to be in an industrial ecosystem. But these were like some of the pleasant surprises that I have had in my journey, so just wanted to share that here, sir. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, my dear friends. Thanks for this opportunity. Thanks, TIDCO, providing me this opportunity. The way back of 33 years back, I created my venture, and I'm a first generation entrepreneur, rightly Wing Commander Madhusudanan told about me. And I started a small way about making rubber parts for the aviation, for the industrial initially as well as. 91 I met Dr. Kalam, and I was with Dr. Kalam for 7.5 years in the various occasions. He only provided me an opportunity to develop the seals for fighter aircrafts like Kiran, Jaguar, IJT like that. And with this experience, I started making the rubber parts for all the aviation sector and even space also. Even the vibration isolator our company is making for ISRO and other parts also we are making. And presently we are into 5 verticals, composites and precision machining and small systems and subsystems also we are into. And recently we acquired Tanisha Aerospace also for making the space product and all. For ISRO, GSLV, PSLV product and all, we are into Tanisha Aerospace. And it's a good journey, and the Tamil Nadu is a good destination for running an industry. And as Madam told, we have more than 5,000 engineering students, aviation students every year coming out, and we are able to get the good engineers at a lower cost, and even like IT apprentice, even engineering college students also coming for apprenticeship for a year or two, and we make use of the young talent for getting the product done. And really Tamil Nadu is a good destination, and government also supporting like anything, and they created so many aero park, and fortunately we are expanding our capabilities in Hosur. Rightly Mr. Srinath told, he is sitting there in Chennai and taking care of ISRO people like that, and I am taking care of Hindustan and other DRDO people tapping there in the Hosur and helping the retired people, and we are also getting good product, and within the reasonable time we are able to develop so many products. And recently we got an Tier 1 status from Boeing, and we are into 2,500 parts we are making for Boeing civil aircraft. It's really great journey, and I'm loving my industry and my profession, and Tamil Nadu is a fantastic state. Even I am having 3 manufacturing setup in Tamil Nadu only. Even if I want to create 1 or 2 in Tamil Nadu only, not other than Tamil Nadu. Thanks for this opportunity, madam. Jai Hind.
It's great stories, and I'll give a perspective maybe from my experience in India over the last 25 years. My name is William Blair, and for the introduction, I lead Lockheed Martin here in India, and for the last 3 years. But I've been associated with India for about the last 25, 26 years. I first came with GE Aviation in 1996, but had a 3-year stint, 2005 to 2008. That's when I was first introduced to Chennai, actually. In the early days of the first round of the MMRCA campaign, the fighter requirement, we were conducting supplier conferences all over India to try to identify companies that wanted to invest and move into the defense space. And you were a long part of that, I think. But there were some companies that were in the automotive sector that were seeking to make those investments to make the transition into aerospace and defense. And I will call it the early days of self-reliant India, Make in India. Actually, that was a great initiation. Fast forward to today, with Lockheed Martin, we're now producing, we've qualified the production of fighter wings in Hyderabad through our joint venture with Tata. But the most important components, I will say, that make that successful is coming from Lakshmi Machine Works in Coimbatore. And so they're a great partner to actually make the investment in advance of a requirement. There's a very large ecosystem of hundreds of thousands of aircraft that are operating, and when you can make a very advanced fighter wing to withstand 9 Gs, 12,000 flight hours, it's a great solution both for delivering to new aircraft. We're offering the F-21 as part of the fighter requirement, but there's a whole ecosystem of aircraft that would need to have their wings replaced to extend the life and the useful life of the aircraft. It's a tremendously productive opportunity, I think, going forward, and it's a great example of the catalyst of the aerospace and defense ecosystem that's come up in India, but especially in Tamil Nadu, and with the Tamil Nadu Aerospace and Defense Corridor. I think that's a great opportunity for companies like us as we look to place our investments and our partnerships and our presence going forward. I'll talk a little bit about the space domain as well, but I heard about GE Aviation Additive Manufacturing Center of Excellence down in Tamil Nadu. I think that's also a tremendous opportunity. When I was with GE 05 to 08, we were really trying to focus on growing our supply chain and our investments in India. And it's great to see that's come up, but additive manufacturing is a real game changer in the space domain and many other domains, and I think that's a tremendous opportunity. Maintenance, repair, and overhaul. I think that is one of those elusive opportunities. You've heard a lot about it over the last 15, 20 years, but now where the government is implementing policies that make it easier for us to import and re-export products. You know, the commercial element of making MRO a viable business case, not just to meet India's requirements, to make India a hub to meet regional requirements. We see that as a tremendous opportunity. And then I just happened to meet you, ma'am, earlier this morning, actually, at an opportunity at Garuda Aerospace, a new startup in drones, really innovative in what they're doing. We're providing some software that allows them to enable some of the real-time monitoring and capability inside. But I think it's a great example of a startup, and I think as well as a wonderful startup, which I'll mention earlier or as well. That's where I think there's a tremendous rapid innovation that we're experiencing in India. Really, I think one of, if not the greatest, the top three for sure, startup ecosystems that are coming up, but especially in spaces such as areas such as the space domain. So space. I was introduced to space when I joined Lockheed Martin in 2018. And at that time, we started working with, through our Lockheed Martin Ventures group. It's where we make investments in startups that are either developing disruptive or complementary capabilities. And we've invested in some small startups that do small launch, and I think that's a great opportunity I'd like to talk to you more about, Srinath. But I think when you can connect the startups, and that was a little bit of my early experience with MIT, a lot of the startups come around, you know, your best talent, your best universities, and I think that's a strength for Tamil Nadu, as you mentioned. And then lastly, offsets. We think that, you know, where we have hundreds of millions of dollars worth of offset obligations, that's just Lockheed Martin. Other companies, even more than that. Even though the policy has changed and is placing less emphasis on offsets, to the degree that we can work together and work with the Ministry of Defense to come up with more innovative, more strategic projects of strategic value, I think that's an opportunity for us to win together. And I should have mentioned with Lakshmi Machine Works on this fighter wing, when we first started our journey of large-scale production in India over 12 years ago, we were importing components and assembling the tail of the C-130J, the empennage at that time. Now we're up over 87%, going to 90% indigenous content on the tail of the C-130J. As you know, there's 12 operating with the Indian Air Force. When we started building the fighter wings, the first article, we're already at 70% to start, because we were able to benefit and actually be a part of the development of that aerospace and defense ecosystem, many of the companies based in Tamil Nadu, that I think is incredibly important as we seek to meet the higher and higher expectations in terms of indigenous content. And so I think that translates to tremendous opportunities going forward. And I should probably end my comments there, but I appreciate the opportunity, you know, for this seminar with TIDCO and the opportunities going forward. Thank you.
Yeah, now taking the cue from whatever has been asked for and whatever has been talked. My experience in the space is concerned, I think nearly 40 years has gone. And when I entered in ISRO, I think just overlapping with Dr. Kalam's days. And the launches were very, I think 400 kilometers, 40 kg putting we are struggling. But most of the satellites were done outside, launched from outside. Ours only just managing the missions. But from there, now you look at here 40 years later, now you look at here, all the set of that satellite, be it remote sensing, communication, navigation, meteorological, even the science missions like noteworthy missions like Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, I think we have reasonably well. And we can definitely, in the space point of view, India can climb in the first 4 or 5 places in that. So that much graduation has happened there. Having done that, now you look at here, the Indian development point of view, major shares of communication and remote sensing and the meteorological navigation satellites are carrying their own shares in various departments. Now that means that national itself requirements of even the civil as well as the defense point of view, requirements of satellites have gone up. Now nearly 75 satellites being operated, and you know the satellites have its own life limited. So that means keeping that thing red, that means like your land, air, sea security, space security also. Not defending, basically we have to ensure that those satellites, like our food security doesn't mean you are going to fight with the food with somebody else. Your own food you should ensure it is available next day. Similarly, our satellites also be there, like limited, you have to put back the things in a better way, upgraded versions. That is one thing. Second thing is parallelly, now India has launched a good number of satellites for the foreign countries. Nearly 34 countries, 345 satellites have been launched to the date. And I think coming weeks, 36 of the OneWeb satellites will be launched by GSLV. That means PSLV and GSLV both are getting into commercialized mode. It has come now. But still, there's a lessons learned. That means we used to claim our Mars mission is the first ever mission to go to the first attempt to succeed to go around the Mars. Basically the lessons learned from elsewhere helped us to do the mission reasonably well. Similarly, our own lessons, what we learned last 40-50 years, definitely can feed into what we are supposed to do now. That means today, competitive world, you need, as I told, so many satellites are being launched. I think the last 3 years itself, more than 2,500 satellites launched, which is more than 40% of what has been done last 60 years. And that means this many satellites still keep going up. And these things, operationally, when we are maintaining, as I told, our 75 satellites maintenance itself, we have to do our own job. Now thousands of satellites becoming an operational globally. That means to maintain the satellites. Today we may be launching for 30 or 50 one shot. But after everything is operationalized, requirement will come possibly every alternate week or alternate day. One satellite will be replaced because the operational satellite something has happened. So when that comes, I feel connecting with what Madam has told and what the other colleagues, young and older generations talking about, and the lessons learned put together. Now you look at the real hotspot is, I feel, Close Airport now. Because today's condition, what all we have learned is Sriharikota being a launch pad. We have the satellite port being a Bangalore, and the launch vehicle stages are coming from Trivandrum or Vallimala. Things being tested at Magandaragiri. Some of the stages coming from Godrej, going back and forth. Something coming from Hyderabad, something going from Ahmedabad. These are all fine when you launch every year one satellite or two satellites. Today, when you think about a scenario where there is a possibility of on-demand launch satellite, not only for strategic, even for our own civilian also, on-demand satellite requirement is going to come. When that comes, today's setup of what ISRO is having is not enough, not meaningful. Because I know, and I myself was the director of ISRO Satellite Center, at least 2 occasions the satellite when transported from Bangalore to Sriharikota met with an accident. And we have our own anxiety of the things. But that means the lessons learned from here go to come to your supervisor program when we make a new launch pad. It should not be just launch pad alone. That is the measures. Okay? And that launch pad basically Agnikul can make use and SSLV ISRO can make use. Whomever make use, they are going to get a benefit more than what Sriharikota. Point one. Second thing is, whatever the lessons learned, it should not be logistically taking the things across the India and coming to one place. I think that will not be able to meet logistically. One is expensive, another one is time consuming, another thing is risk involved. I think all put together, I think this is what I was advocating with Krishnamurthy and anyway, Madam also here now. Anyway, also this is taught also. I feel this is a real hotspot, global hotspot India can provide from Sriharikota an alternative to somebody else. I think it's very much possible, especially when the on-demand satellites or few satellites to be launched anytime. I think Agnikul, I can go right away, market is available. Okay, and the ecosystem is being available there. And all along, we people used to work 50 kilometers away from the Tamil Nadu border, and there is every possibility we can work within the border. Okay, and that too, a place really hotspot, because why I'm telling hotspot is it's really cold today, because the Thoothukudi and other areas concerned, because Tamil Nadu, though it's post, it's industrially developed, but it stops development, stops beyond 3G. I think it's not moving far down. I think that this is also another way it can move, and geographically that gives you a very advantage position. One side Magandaragiri is sitting there, another side we have the Sriharikota. In between we are able to make a corridor. There's a space exclusively meant for space. I think we are going to have it. That too, today India is planning to have from 2% of space commerce to go for ambitiously 10%. This is Prime Minister, his own thing. We are Prime Minister himself is our own minister, space minister. So it is his own point of view, he definitely do that. So all the backings will be there. And today not only the backing, naturally this is happening. Okay, all the things put together, I feel competitively coming Agni-Goal and SSV combination with the Kulasegara if all stages can be done around that place, then definitely on the demand that stage is ready. Similarly, satellites also we make similar way it's ready. So it is not satellites or the launch vehicles just integrated, including other systems. Okay, and whatever aerospace point of view talks about there also. Now beyond that, materials and even the gyros, electronic systems, many things can be also, if you do it there, you will be definitely will be a cost competitive, and the cost of competitiveness versus geographically an advantage position, and putting the two together, and definitely the world looks for alternate places now. Okay, the new norm is happening beyond COVID-19, and we also can be competitively in that mode. So that way I feel with the experience, whatever I learned from 40 years, I think it can tell something better we can do it there. And this is a time available. This is a place also is an advantageous place. I think putting together, I think this is only matter of time we can realize it. Maybe 3 years from now, launch port will be available. By the time, parallelly, we also make this ecosystem available. I think that spaceport can be made to be ready to launch either ISRO launch or private launch. Today, Sriharikota is not equipped like that. Okay, all the lessons learned here, I think probably we can do here. So that way, my travel from morning 3 o'clock, wake up and coming over here, running around even the transportation is just to convey this message. Thank you, thank you.
So, good afternoon everyone. First of all, thank you for this opportunity to be on with this such eminent personalities around. With a great context set by Mr. Krishnamurthy and also an excellent presentation from Man about the TITCO and the different things that are happening in Tamil Nadu. I feel really glad that I can also put my point around this context. So looking at the involvement from my side in the space, I think not only space, more overall aerospace, defense and space. Through all systems, we have been working with many of the space organizations around the world, and also contributing towards the specific solutions around digital design engineering, virtual validation, and also digital transformation aspects, and also working towards how we transform further in the manufacturing area. So with this involvement that we have been having, now coming to the specific aspect of what can be done in Tamil Nadu, and again I reiterate the point Sir said about also the context Mr. Krishnamurthy has mentioned, how Tamil Nadu can become the global hotspot. I strongly feel yes, this can be a great global hotspot in the future, primarily by looking at 3 different aspects. One is certainly Tamil Nadu is a proven manufacturing hub. Okay, we have greater established manufacturing facilities around Chennai, Hosur, Coimbatore has been there for many decades in the precision engineering. It has been a proven manufacturing hub. So the second point is in terms of the skills. Ma'am has also highlighted the kind of the investments and incentives that they have in the context of skill development in Tamil Nadu. And certainly Tamil Nadu is an area, is a state where there are a lot of skills that are available, and also there are different investments and incentives are coming in as now highlighted. And the third point is, I think Tamil Nadu is one of the states where there is a polymer park which can be leveraged in terms of the specific component manufacturing, the composites manufacturing as well. So with this context, I think certainly with the facility that is available for all the private players now to enter into the space segment, I think Tamil Nadu will be certainly a greater state for all the private players to invest and contribute to the manufacturing aspect. So with this context now, how Dassault Systems is contributing to this aspect is now we are working with, as ma'am have highlighted, we have a center of excellence with Dassault Systems. We have a center called TANCAM, Tamil Nadu Center for Advanced Manufacturing, where we are working on virtual engineering and the specific solution experiences to be brought out, and how we can nurture the micro, small, medium enterprises. So that way, I think in the context of the overall growth that we see and with the overall aerospace defense and the space segment, I'm sure this center can certainly help and help to develop all these MSMEs and also to develop the workforce of the future by enabling these necessary skilling for the students. So with that, I'm certainly now to reiterate that there's a lot of potential, and I'm sure Tamil Nadu will be a global hotspot for sure.
Mr. Krishnamurthy, you have the privilege of being the last speaker, so definitely I need to squeeze in on some time from you.
Okay.
So I request you to keep it short so that we can take a couple of questions from the audience.
Yeah, after the great talk from luminaries, so I have left with a few points. Nevertheless, as it was mentioned, Tamil Nadu, the SSLV project set up by ISRO, it is going to be the global hotspot, as rightly mentioned by Miles sir. So we have taken a number of efforts, to leverage the facilities being set up. Number one, we have expedited the land acquired for proposed SSLV facilities, more than 90% land already handed over to ISRO, and about 2 years' time it is going to be launched. And also we are in the process of identifying the land for development of spaceport adjoining to the facility so that the ecosystem will prevail. And we are also working on for setting up a common facility center for manufacturing satellite and launching vehicles so that the ecosystem will develop. And Mr. Dassault System Ahmed was mentioning that we have already set up Center of Excellence along with the Dassault System, which will train the requirement of skilled manpower for the space ecosystem, as well as along with the Siemens and GE, we are going to have shortly, as mentioned by MD, another 2 Center of Excellences which will infuse the technology adoption for the Industry 4 as well as the advanced manufacturing skills requirements. In fact, we have, as rightly mentioned, we have existing capabilities. We will map out, in fact, more than 90% propellants being supplied from Tamil Nadu. That Sivagasi, it's a capital where it's manufactured. So that node we will link into the development of space ecosystem, as well as the Trichy, one of the node fabrication hub, and the other, the capabilities of other node we will leverage, and then we will map it out. In fact, a startup, our MD was mentioning soon about IDEX as well as TDF startups. As we will come out with a scheme to support through way of grant as well as equity infusion through TITCO. So that will support the startups who are emerging in the A&D sector. And for UIM, in fact, Blair, we mentioned that one of the corridor, they have the advantage of 2x multiplier to discharge the obligations. And all the requirements we are taking up with the MOD, they are also coming up with a scheme to support the foreign OEM to get into space and other ecosystem. We will pursue them, we will get things done. And in fact, Chennai, it has emerged as a second best and in terms of R&D innovation center, and both for operational as well as economic point of view. And we have very well R&D ecosystem, and we have come out with a number of interventions from government. Tamil Nadu government is playing an active enabling role, and with these interventions, we strongly hope in the space economy we will be able to carve out size and as well as meet out the self-reliance drive of Government of India. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. I would love to go on and on because you can't get a better gathering than the people who are assembled here. So this could continue for ages, but unfortunately there is always a lack of time. Time is something which is generally not available. So I would rather request, I would say that I will open the floor for 2 questions from the audience. Yes, she has the first question. We will take your question. Yes.
question. Basically, I just wanted to clarify on what Mailsami and Nadu sir said. It's about going down south. What you mentioned was a thing of the past, that all the industries were concentrated up north and west, and that is how it was, the scenario. But right now, we've got about 2 lakh crore investment, of which 60% goes to Thoothukudi and down south. So that is the thing which the last 2 years, there's a lot of investment which is happening down south, including Tata Power and big names. I can't say many names now, but then we know that these are going to come down south, especially to Thoothukudi, Gangaikonda, all our vast lands which were empty, all our industrial parks which were empty till now. It's all been filled up now, and people are asking for more land because they're getting better incentives if they go down south. So that is the point I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
That's wonderful, ma'am. And that means the 2 questions still stand good. It was not a question. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much. And I have a question to Mr. Ahmed. Companies like us, the startups, struggle a lot to buy a software for design. To design a product, we have to depend on the softwares, and the softwares are very expensive. And is there any other opportunity from you to give at a subsidized cost or something? Okay, thank you. And of course, you have also signed a MOU with Tamil Nadu government. Can you provide something for the startups like us so that we will greatly benefit by using the softwares? Specifically designed.
So,
thank you.
I just want to answer in 2 different aspects. One is the Center of Excellence that we have set up with the TITCO, with the Tamil Nadu government. The primary objective of this is to have this center as an incubation center for startups to come leverage the existing infrastructure, existing solution, the whole space that we have. Okay, so any startup can certainly leverage and use that to have your complete innovation aspects, your design validation aspects, your simulation aspects performed, leveraging the incubation center. So that is one of the primary objectives. The second objective being the skill development and how we make the students ready to adapt to the industry or absorb by the industry. And the second aspect from the SO system is, the SO system is doing a lot of investment in promoting the startups. We have specific startup offers by itself. You can contact us at any, we have a very lucrative startup offers to promote the startups in terms of adopting these solutions and also quickly validate and come out with the products into the market. Time to market could be shorter. So we have those offers available. We can certainly offer to you as well.
Yes, we still have time for one more question. But the questions could be both from off the dais as well as on the dais.
Was 12 years for Boeing. So after getting graduated, then I became a Tyrone. So I am requesting you, the MSME who are all interested to go for Tyrone, let us work for Tier 2 industry or Tier 3 industry first. So then you can work for straight away you can go to the Tyrone industry. That is the procedure.
Well, the basic management things that we need to take care.
Okay, yes sir, it is not the management, not the capacity and the knowledge. So if you are working for Boeing drawing or Airbus drawing or Lockheed Martin drawing, then I think it's, they cannot give directly. So we can go for Tier 2, Tier 3 industry first, and we can read the drawings and read the specifications and how the part to be manufactured, how the part to be inspected. So many things are there, sir. So I was there for 14 years with civil aviation, sir. Right, I started with Goodrich, now it's Collins, and now we are in Tyrone. Even the last year only we got the Tyrone status. Even though we are struggling, it's not a joke to go for civil aviation like that. So I don't tell it's not possible. It's possible, but we need to upgrade ourselves, sir. That's what. Thank you.
And maybe I could just add an additional perspective, from Lockheed Martin. We have a supplier conference, usually annually. It's in November 2nd through the 4th. This year it's at Bangalore. But one of the key things that I've learned in engaging with the suppliers and companies and partners here, first is start with a digital thread. Start with a digital definition of what you're going to produce. And that actually allows you to move more quickly and more precisely. And then the other thing is obviously get all the certifications that you need. So work with those OEMs, whether it's Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Airbus, Dassault Systems. We all, I would often rate suppliers as to, do they have experience already exporting from India to a third country, therefore they have the certifications in place. So it requires an investment of time and effort to get the experience and the certifications, and then that actually will elevate you, I think, in your opportunities. And when I talk about suppliers, the majority of our suppliers are MSMEs, the big ones but by far 60% plus of our suppliers are MSMEs. So we work with them just as the other other players do as well that I mentioned.
Probably we have time for one more question, the last question. Yeah.
Hi, I'm
Other mic.
Hello. Hi, I'm from Labs USA. We are a company which provide SSA and SDA solutions using our ground-based radars, which we built ourselves. And we are really interested in the growing space market. And we would like to know how, because we have talked about manufacturing and software, but there's also this aspect of data, which the SSA data that is being generated, and how can that be incorporated in this environment, in this ecosystem that is being built. I was really excited to learn about the Space Center coming up in down south, Tamil Nadu. So I would like to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I know the situational awareness is a real issue, and that too India also, as I told here, the good number of satellites we are maintaining. This issue definitely is there. One is, I think already India has made a baby step, not only make the satellite, launching it and monitoring it. Now we have another center for situational awareness is already coming, and that includes our own multi-target radars for the launch phase. When we are launching PSLV, we have to ensure that we are not crossing the debris. So that at that point of view, we have an active multi-target radar system is there. But maintaining the satellites, yes, what we are called for is we need a good amount of data collected thing, such that our satellites also safe. And towards that, definitely it is in a place. I think we have Bangalore, we have situational awareness system. Beyond in Bangalore and Hassan, Lucknow, we had the satellite monitoring control centers. We have an exclusive center. What ESA is having, similar thing is happened now it has come up in ISRO also. And that looks for collaborative thing. But this is more of a collaborative thing. You know that this is various models are there and various monitoring systems are there. It calls geographically located places. It's called for. Definitely, I think you are open to discuss with the people.
Thank you.
First of all, I need to thank each and every individual who's gathered here, that despite the difficulties of entering the place, despite the transportation issues, despite all these impediments, you have made it here and you have spent the last 1.5 years seated listening to such eminent personalities. First of all, you need to be thanked for that. I thank you people on behalf of Government of Tamil Nadu and Tamil Nadu Industrial Development Corporation. A special thanks to people who came here. And definitely, I would be missing a lot if I don't thank the people who are seated on the dais. They have a real tight schedule. They are running behind their clocks, and definitely their commitment is so much. To get about 1.5 hours of their time to be seated here requires a lot of effort from them to pull them also themselves out from their routine. So I thank each and every individual on the dais for making it here and sharing your perspective with the audience here. And I need to thank Mrs. Jayashree Muralidharan, who has travelled specifically for this event all the way from Chennai, just about 2,000 odd kilometers, specifically to be here along with us. And yes, all of us are here, but she travelled just this morning. So I thank her, and I would be missing out if I don't thank the organizers of this event, the entire Def Expo, and this series of seminars. Mr. Ajay Dubey is not here, but still, the message would reach him through his team for this wonderful arrangement. And definitely, I need to thank Mr. Srinath, Mr. Lockheed from the bottom of my heart for being here. Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen. We hope that this